remember you were a brave man on Friday coming out in support of Ardie Savea and his throat slitting gesture. We were saying in our little WhatsApp group, I kind of thought it was okay at the time. I thought it was entertaining, and I did not want to be the lightning rod on Twitter who was the first person to come out and say it was grand, because you're just going to get like 300 messages and tweets, and people are going to be going at you all day. So you bore the brunt of it. How did you get on?
It looks like John Cooney was the lightning rod. I think he came out strongly, and obviously that garnered more views and reaction. And it is an interesting topic, and obviously he's been cited since, and he's facing a hearing. I think that's kind of happening, or has just happened. So we haven't heard exactly what's going to come of that. But given that there's the TMO upgrade system and review system in place, clearly they didn't feel it was a red during the game, but the citing commissioner did. I didn't. I understand why he was cited. I do. What he did wasn't right, and I'm not completely defending it, but honestly, I'm kind of okay with it. It was an aggressive act, obviously, but I totally understand it. He's amped up. He's just been in a bit of a scuffle, a brawl. It's a really physical game, and players, maybe people don't understand as much how just on an edge they are and how they have to be, because it's so physical a game, because you're dealing with such massive athletic specimens, and him being one of them, obviously, that sometimes it bubbles over. I get it. I get why he kind of lost the head a bit. As I said, I lose the head, and I'm not playing a physical contact sport every day. And yeah, he probably should have channeled it in a better way, but he apologized after the game. I don't think he ever intended to actually slit someone's throat or physically harm them in any way. You know, you see worse in the game not being cited or being missed at times in terms of actual foul play where there's direct physical harm. And he said himself, it's not a great look for kids watching the game. But at the same time, I have to say I enjoyed it in terms of the sheer spectacle, drama, the spiciness of it, the way everything ratcheted up. Here we are, and a few days later, it's the one thing we're focused on from Super Rugby, and everyone else in the same boat. I'm not saying everyone should be going around doing these kind of things, but if it happens at times, I'm actually okay with it. So I don't think that it was worth deciding, to be honest. I'm glad he apologized, and for me, that was enough.
Yeah, I think my overriding sentiment watching it, or at least watching some of the discourse play out around it, was the extent to which people were seemingly appalled by it, and yet you're watching a game for 80 minutes in which there are like 300 physical collisions between huge men. Like, you're not going to walk off the field without being incredibly hurt physically, right? And yet it was the sort of suggestion via body language that you were going to hurt somebody that people were up in arms about. I didn't get that. Like, there's such a clear distinction between like a threat that nobody would have taken at face value, wasn't meant literally, and actually charging into people at 50 miles an hour and hurting them as part of the sport. So I don't know. I felt like the outrage was a bit much. Bert, where would it rank in terms of things that were done to you on a rugby pitch during your career?
I wish that was the limit of it, to be honest. I think most players would just laugh at someone who did, even if it's Ardie Savea. Like, you know that he's going to come back on and try and hunt you down or whatever and tackle you or whatever. But it was just funny. I genuinely, it came up my timeline, and I expected to see him having taken the head off somebody, or done a spear tackle or something like dangerous. And then I just saw that, and I was like, what's the big deal? Like, it's okay. Look, I know I'm not saying we should have that every player doing that, but I think it happened in the spur of the moment. I thought it was quite funny, to be honest. I don't know why there's such an outcry about it, really. To be honest, when there's so much worse he could do, and he apologized afterwards. Look, I understand why they have to bring him through a site. He'll be cited for it, and he's been cited for it. But I genuinely, I thought it was laughable, really. But that's the way it is at the moment. A lot of people just want to get really upset about reasonably mundane things that don't really, I suppose, involve us. You know what I mean? Like, it's a match being played down in the Super Rugby, and he makes a gesture and there's outcry. You know what I mean? If that's all you've got to get upset about, things are rosy.
I've heard from someone who knows someone kind of directly involved in it, and they said all the players were joking about it afterwards. So saying they're going to set up a fight in the car park afterwards between in the scrum half. It doesn't seem to have been taken seriously by the players themselves. So, and you can see the likes of Cooney and other players saying this is absolute nonsense. So that says a lot.
Yeah, I agree. Good to move on from it.